Great. So I'll say hello then. I'm Katie. I'm first violinist of the Village Quartet. Now, just to start, unfortunately, we do have a little bit of a hit from COVID to our quartet, which you might have just discovered that there are three of us here. So unfortunately, our fourth member, our cellist, is feeling a little under the weather with the old big C. So he will be fine, we are sure, very soon, but today is not quite feeling well enough. But I'm hoping that cellists, you will join in our sectionals, the three of us, and all of the other chat that we do in the next hour. So yes, I'm Katie. It's nice to see new faces and lovely to see the familiar ones that I've got to use.
Can you wish Leo well from all the cellists, please?
Absolutely, we will. He is, yeah, I think he would be here if he was feeling slightly better, but I have a feeling he hasn't left his bed for a couple days. So, but thank you, Juliet. We will send your best wishes to him. Tamaki, should I pass over to you?
Oops. Yes. Hi, I'm Tamaki. Yes, that's right. Like Leo was sending Lilliard's message that he was really so sorry, and then he said he's coughing a bit too badly to join the session. So I'm Tamaki, second violinist of the quartet, and really lovely to see familiar faces and all the new faces. Welcome. We love doing this. It works great for us. Like gives us opportunity to just dig deep to learn things just away from the instrument. It just gives us freedom to learn and kind of discover things separately when we are not fixated by string playing and technique, and then come back to playing, and it's really liberating. So we love doing this, and we love doing this with you all because you gives us so much insight. So welcome.
And hi everybody, I'm Carmen Flores. I'm the violist in the Village Quartet. I'm tuning in from Nottingham, UK, where I live. I know, I see Andrew also from Nottingham. Woohoo! We do have a nice contingent of folks from this area. But originally I'm from California, and I'm so pleased that we have Caroline here from California joining us. Welcome. And our hope is to, just spread the love of quartets, especially, in this new year. I don't know about you, it's gotten a little funny again with all the COVID and everything and coming out. This was a great project that we developed over the lockdown. Actually, Tamaki was the one who said, let's do an online course. And so we've really worked on this as an aside, and it's been great for us. And thank you for coming to our taster session. So I think we're ready to just kind of dive in there. I understand that you've been sent a PDF of some music. We're just going to look at the opening of the quartet, but what we can also do is screen share parts of the score. And in the latter half of this taster session, we are going to break up the session in about 10 minutes each of us giving a sectional. So you'll get insights from first violin, second violin, and viola. So just a little taste of everything, and then we'll also recap at the end about the course itself.
Brilliant. Just if anybody would like the score or the parts, do just put a little note in the chat, and I will upload the parts once we've chatted about the opening. So we thought we would start with the opening of the first movement. Tamaki, shall I leave it with you? I'm going to screen share. So this is our Dvorak Opus 105. We are starting our main course, but this is just a little taster. So we thought exposition and introductions were the most important. So I will screen share the score, and Tamaki, shall I leave it with you? Oh, I would, but I can't hear you. So oh, there we go.
Oh, did you want me to do the screen share?
No, I'll screen share.
You do the screen share.
Yeah, I'm just going to find it. Sorry.
Yeah. Now for this particular course, we're using the Henley edition. So we have the Henley edition of Opus 105. As I understand, the actual score is quite hard to come by, because I think they've had a print run that's not going to be sent out until a few months from now. I was able to find this on eBay, thankfully. But what we can do is, if you sign up to the course, we can at least email you a copy of the score we're using. And this has some great notes put in by Tamaki for today.
I'm not sure about great. We usually rely on Leo's amazing score analysis. So I kind of highlighted what I thought interesting. But just before we dive in, I mean, we don't have too huge time, but it's good to probably remember that one of the most famous Dvorak Quartet 96 American. So this comes after that period, and then also probably it's good to be aware of his the historical side of things. So he's already as Czech composer, went to America to teach in America, to lead this National Conservatory in New York. So the role was really to push the level of music education in America. So he's recognized as one of the first internationally recognized composer, right? And then, but obviously during his American time, he learned, and he took lots of bits from American culture, but he also missed his own culture and then wrote America. So this is kind of has both elements, right? Like his huge discovery and then influence in America. So it's good to be aware of that aspect. When I think about this particular Dvorak Quartet, any Dvorak music, but like this one, I was so struck by how colorful and how vividly that each emotion is vividly spoken, almost like each bar and each harmony. So like it's just you can I can almost imagine the personality of Dvorak, that he is probably really deep and then really empathetic, really compassionate kind of person, because like his emotion just flows, and you can see that in the harmony. So if you just imagine where the music starts with this cello playing the motif in A minor in pianissimo, in A minor and pianissimo, and then viola follows pianissimo, and then when the second violin join on E flat, so that's a fifth. That itself is, but when it is combined with the B natural in cello, like he's already presenting the relative major by the third measure. He start with A minor, A flat minor, tonic, but like third measure, it's already you can feel the sense of like lift, right? Like glimpse of sun. And then when he hit this first chord, that's third inversion of the E flat major chord, and then 3 chords lead into this bar 6. So bar 6, that chord is a fortissimo. How the story progress in the first 6 bars, from where it starts so unknown, A flat, like really mystifying kind of place, to pa-da, and then if you just imagine how different type of A flat he's speaking out here in only 6 bars, that's kind of already tells the kind of scale of story what's gonna come out from this music. How do you guys feel about this each chord? These 3 chords when we play these things.
Yeah, there's a real sense of there's this idea of expectation, right? When you listen to a piece of music and your ear kind of expects it to go somewhere harmonically. I think he's really good at playing around with that, and taking you to a place that, okay, I did not expect this kind of tone color or this kind of code. And for me, it just shows his mastery, I suppose, at this stage of his life too. He was really not afraid to just go for it in his composition. I mean, it shows in his time scale. This is a very epic piece, also. And it's literally the last piece of chamber music, or the last quartet that he wrote after a series of 14 quartets. So he's at the peak of his powers in a way, and yeah, I think he's just so well mastered. He has the mastery of it, but he also knows a great bit about the storytelling element, and how to manipulate your ear and your emotion in the chords.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting how we each have a turn, but then he's fixated on this dum da 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 dum. He could go anywhere after bar 4.
Yeah.
But the fact he comes back to it, but the violin on its own, and he's looking for a way out. And actually, the way out, I always feel, is somewhere different. You want him to develop this idea and actually get to where we get to in bar, we're looking for bar 15, aren't we? So where we start the movement proper down here, da 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 ya da.
Major.
We're looking for the yes. Sorry, I'm thinking of the recap where we come back here. Is it the development where we're in the minor, in the development? But it's interesting how he sort of leaves it.
Yes.
The color, every time he tries, the color is so different, and how you can express that in what you're doing. And how it becomes a very small fragment rather than it is, the first bar of the cello is in some ways a fragment, but by adding the voices, it becomes sort of conversational. But immediately he stops that, and you're in a very short little chunk for a while. And I always find, and then we sort of do the reverse, dum ba bum bum ba bum bum ba bum 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 bum.
Cello plays a different pitch, right?
Yeah, here in bar 9. So you get that reverse conversation.
Yeah.
And then we come together finally in bar 10. And the motion is more, it's more square, isn't it? Because we're just playing very simple quavers, and more solid. We're happier with, in some ways, where we are. The expectation and the questioning, I think he brings from this first figure in the first bar, which he marks very interestingly. I don't know if anybody has ever seen that kind of marking. I find the long slur with the line on the third quaver, but like, what do you do bowing wise? What do you feel? How can you bring that across without it being separate? Those are things I think about. But also this dum ba bum is also very searching, and reminds you of a different era. There's a little hunting, so almost like a hunting call kind of thing going on, but it's very
It's just questioning, isn't it? Just questioning. Whole thing is a questioning. I mean, going back to the beginning of like bar 5, 6, 7, dum bum ba da 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 dum. The 3 times of attempt, bar 4, bar 5, bar 6. Visually speaking, it's trying to go somewhere. Yes, it is going somewhere. Dynamics wise, forte, forte, and it goes fortissimo. But that harmony we reach the bar 6, that's not something satisfying, is it? Like it's not a satisfying harmony. It's so you're kind of hung there, right?
Well, and he really does that by the diminuendo, I find, in that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And the fact that it goes over the bar line into the middle of the next bar. You almost think it should finish in that bar, but he keeps it sort of lingering.
Yeah.
A slightly uncomfortable like sort of holding, and also the color of the sound is on the E string. You wouldn't really be able to play it anywhere else. So it
Yeah.
has that sort of edge to it. So it's not a happy. You're not in a glowing place.
So this bomb that things are you the top note the so it's not D, E flat, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not D. Yeah. Are you thinking what kind of color are you thinking? Are you thinking
Well, I always feel
like
there's a little bit of hope. Dum ba ba.
oh do you
And then
think
I
that?
well, a little bit. Do you not?
Uh,
On
no,
the
I always
oh, I see.
I kind of would like vibrato, but like I feel the pitch of E flat, E double flat, yeah, E double flat. That can be kind of white note, like non expressive, but like that's interesting.
Well, it's the beginning of a slur. I always feel dum ba ba. Like
Oh,
there's a slight
yeah.
funk to it, and also there's an energy about the dum ba ba, like getting to it.
Mm.
I'm sure it could be played in many ways. Somehow we have to come down from something, don't you?
Yeah. I think also this kind of corner again kind of expressing his mastery about how to express some kind of emotion is a very ambivalent place, right? It could be either or, and maybe the question is also, does it need to be one or the other? And I was just reading an interview for some reason with Ben Affleck this morning. Apparently, he's turning 50 this year, but he said, "In my old age, well, not that old, I have more understanding of feelings of ambivalence and nostalgia and regret. You know, these feelings that aren't so clear cut." Yeah, exactly. Not so clear cut. So, you know, if Dvorak can express those feelings, that's such a rich palette, you know, which is more than happy, sad, angry, you know, blah blah blah, but more gray areas of emotion, which can be shown harmonically.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an
We
interesting harmony color to find,
yeah.
isn't it? It's a
Well,
very
we have a
clean
quick
place.
question in the chat about the numbering of why this is number 14 or and the G major quartet is number 13, but the opus numbers are swapped. I don't know if it's necessarily Simrock's doing, but there was kind of some overlap in how Dvorak wrote the quartet. So he started this quartet, the Opus 105, A flat major. He wrote the first movement first, but then put it aside and this kind of had a dry spell. And then went and wrote the Opus 106. He completed it. So that quartet technically was finished before this one, but because he had already written the first movement of this quartet, it I guess it counts as his Opus 105. So he finished this quartet after the Opus 106. So maybe that explains some kind of, you know, overlap of the two quartets.
Now, I wonder whether just because we could, this is what happens is that we get very excited about things. We were going to have a nice long chat about this first figure. And actually, I challenge you all to as homework slash as interesting looking at your score and music, look at the first bar figure and find the other points so if we just look at our music briefly, so we have this dum ba da 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 dum, the figure we've been talking about. Now it comes back in bar 15. I can share the score if that's easier. But it comes back in bar 15 as the main melody, which in a minute I'm going to start working on. I think we will just start there. So that's the main melody. Dun, 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 and Tamaki's put it in a nice purple for us. Then we have the second violin and viola in bar 19. You see slightly stronger
And the
minor.
minor.
Exactly. There's something very beautiful about the major. We get in the minor. Then it comes back down here where we actually get, well, it's a sort of figure in 39. He's coming back to the idea. He's changed. You notice the articulation's changed now. And I think that helps him. you know, it gives it a different sweep, da, 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 ya, da, da, but with the second violin and viola conversing. So he does a lot of different, and each of these have a completely different feel. And then the last one in our chunk that we're looking at today is 43, which is more stable. And actually, if you think about the characters of each of these, and they're all completely different, but they use a very simple rhythmic language. He does a lot with and not many notes, right? Because the second note is always repeated. So it's really interesting how he achieves very different musical feelings with the same idea in different places. So I think it's worth thinking about that and how that then translates through the rest of the movement.
Yeah, and then also, so it's the kind of red marking I put here. It's just that I just
This one here,
just kind of just kind of marked the rhythmic underlay he used. You know, like Dvorak American, bum 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 bum. You can't separate rhythmic character, the character rhythm gives in Dvorak's music, and then like in a very simple way. If you sorry, Katie, just go up in line a little bit. Okay, so the second theme, this is going down in motion. It's accompanied by very simple bum bum bum. Yeah, 3 notes to quaver. That really kind of optimistic character changed to bar 33 or whatever, 32. Pom 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 pom. You know that. Even like 3 notes quaver, or that's precisely dotted quaver, but you know it changed to really stubborn things. So he does that kind of things a lot, isn't it? Like use the same basically same things in like use kind of Jekyll and Hyde, like different character.
It's interesting what you say about the use of rhythm, you know, to achieve his aims. Also, he's really clever about that. I don't know if this has any influence, but he was a really big fan of trains and train spotting. Love that kind of like energy of, you know, he's coming out of the Industrial Revolution again, and so all of this like activity and excitement coming out. So, you know, if he was crazy about trains and travel, maybe some of that influenced his rhythmic style, perhaps. Who knows?
Chugging, rhythmic.
Yeah.
I can hear it definitely. Once he starts moving, it goes. Okay, do you think we should get? I think we should get some instruments out. So it's very a bit short, but I'd like to start. I was going to start at the beginning, but now we've talked a lot about the beginning. So I'd like to start at bar 15. So just for those who are trying this for the first time, suggestion is either to put on. You can put it quite loud and play along with me. Now everyone's welcome to play, so other instruments as well. I try not to skip, but also try and think about different elements that would apply to everyone in it. Some people like to use sort of headphones to hear the sound quite close. Some people like to put it on a speaker. Just try a few. Each of us will have a turn doing a little sectional, so you can always try a few different versions. So we will start. So I will ask.
Shall I spotlight you, Katie? So
thank you.
Yes.
Oh, there we go. It spotlights myself. That's not good. Okay, so we're going to start. First I'll give you an A. So here's an A. Get ourselves warmed up. Okay, now I think Tamaki was going to do a bit of scales, but I'm going to dive right in. So, we're looking at bar 15, just because we're into the main melody. And this is really where the piece sort of gets moving. Now, unfortunately for us, it's actually quite an awkward experience. But let's start kind of slowly. And we're going to look at these first 4 bars from bar 15. So, I'll count us in. 3, 4... and we're going to do it again. I got a little sharp that time. Why don't we find those notes? So A flat, and then the C natural, then E flat, and actually if I hold the A flat, if you can find the C that goes with it, and then the E flat, you can do this on all of our instruments, the C and then the E flat. So we really need to be comfortable with these, the 4 flats that we're playing with. We always should be happy that we're not in the 7 flats that we just came from, right? So we're in some joy. Great. So let's play this opening one more time, still slowly. 3, 4, 1, 2. Two, three. Great, now we're going to get it fast, a little faster, and I want everyone to be thinking about the hairpins and the dynamics, because I think it's a bit surprising and actually tricky to achieve what he actually wrote, which is, in my part, going to the 3rd bar, really making sure that's the goal. So we need to sustain, so a little faster. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Great, and so for verse, you can do loads of different fingerings, but I always find kind of really simple. We don't want to change the string if we can help it. Now, so we really need to be thinking about that 2nd bar. Da 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 yum ba bum. There needs to be a little zing. I think all sforzandos need a little bit of extra something. But then we can't give up. It's very easy to sort of die away. Da ya da. We have to really go with like joy. So it's easy to forget the joy that we want to bring to the 3rd bar. So let's try again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great, so can we just do the 2nd bar, which is bar 16, just straight on it, and really think of going to the next bar, because that's what we're really trying to do. So 3, 4. That's what we're trying to get. Now, I don't know about you all, but getting that 4th finger vibrating and really making it warm after the accent is the challenge. So, and save the bow so that you hit the accent, but then we really want to keep going. So try again, just the 2nd bar. 3, 4. And really let's sink into that E flat, that 3rd bar there. One more time, bar 2, so which is 16. 3, 4. And then we come away. Great, let's try it again. So bar 15, so this is our main theme. Now perfectly in tempo with that hairpin going into the 3rd bar. 3, 4. Great. Now I don't know about you all, but I definitely find the 1st note I do kind of a swell in a way that maybe isn't a good idea, that actually it should really be sustaining much further through. So maybe we should think of the 1st bar, and this might be, so when looking at his slurring, I always find it a little bit like Mendelssohn that we studied last month, that there's a lot of long slurs that we have to figure out what he means. And I think in this bar, the long slur just means sustain rather than die. And we tend to sort of give up a little bit with our down bow. If we think of sustaining and then use the sforzando to have that little kick, rather than really dying after the 1st down bow. Last time, and then we'll look at another chunk, a little phrase a bit later. So bar 15, last time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. So we have all of those details. We have the sustaining of the sound, we have the vibrato in the 2nd bar, and also the little accent at the beginning of that 2nd bar, then crescendoing and making sure that the sound that we get for the 3rd bar is like warm, rich, you know. Is there something I find not a little fluorescent about this sound? I don't find it that warm. I find it a little bit Easter-y fluorescent sound. But when we get to the third bar, that should feel nice and warm. So I think that's where we should feel like, oh yes, we're in the right kind of place. And then obviously the second violin and viola ruin our lives in bar 19 and go into the minor. Great. So now we've looked at that. I want to just look quickly. We're going to skip a little bit. I want to look at bar 37, these semiquavers. So we have a little, very awkward little passage, and I just wanted to look at how we could practice that. So if we go for 37, the second beat, kind of slowly, da da dee da dee da dee da dee da da, like that. So I'll count in 3 4 of the bar before. 3 4 1. Now, I don't know about you, but probably playing it even slower is a good idea. Let's look at the first 2 notes of each of them. So we have the second beat of 37 is, and then the next one is, and then the next one, and then this one is different, isn't it? The D flat comes down. It's horrible, that one. You can't. Oh, sorry. Yes. So I think it's finding a way to hear the first two notes together. I think is really important. So let's do it one more time. I'll do it slow. 3 and 4 and 1 and. Great. Now, I want to find ways from the first note to phrase a little bit more. So da ba da 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 ba ba da da. So we're really shaping a little bit. It's basically finding the inner life inside what we're doing. So one more time at 37. So 3, 4, 1. Possibly I played a wrong note there. I find it really hard. Let's play it a little faster. Da 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 da. And if you're finding all of the notes tricky, I find if you concentrate on the first one of every 4 and really focus on that, it makes it a bit easier. Even if the other ones don't work, concentrating on the first of every 4 keeps our brain in. And then the next time you can concentrate on the first 2 of every 4. You know, so you're sort of keeping in with it. So from 37 again, 3, 4, 1. And you notice it changes the mood, doesn't it, right at the end? So we want to really make sure that the end bit, that we have this sort of da dee da da, we change with thinking of the next character, which is our beautiful, isn't it? That's where we have to instantly start in a nice gorgeous sound. Okay, a little faster. Again, if you find the speed too difficult, just get the first note and maybe first 2 this time. So that's just as good because the other notes will come. One more time, 34. 3, 4, 1. Now, those of you that know me know that I would probably, my next port of call with this would be some rhythms. Dum, ba bum, ba bum, ba bum, ba bum. Honestly, I've practiced this little phrase a million times. Firstly, figuring out just what the notes were, what the harmony is. So that's why I find thinking of the phrasing is helpful. Like little micro phrasing within all the notes really helps, like kind of memorize it basically. And then playing it a little bit as chords really helps. And then a little bit of rhythms. Let's try a rhythm version just so that everyone knows exactly what I'm talking about. Dum, ba bum, ba bum. So I'll start from the beginning of 37 is 1 and. And then just to be evil, we should turn it around the other way. So 1 and. And if we do that about 15 times each, I promise that it will get into your head so many times. And then it will sort of work. Because the irritating thing with this passage is nobody really wants to hear it. It's just a harmony, isn't it? It's as if someone on the piano was playing a little arpeggio. So it's not that we have to be brilliant. We just need to make it sort of, I think if you think of the stroke, yeah, ba 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 ba, the stroke, it sort of helps blend into what everyone else is playing. It's not really about the notes. Now, just to finish, I know I need to give to my colleagues, but can we go from 39, where we will have reached, and let's just play from 39, just to feel this little phrase here. So I'll count into 39, which is 3, 4. Great. So we start with this like a really gorgeous warm sound, and then we get to something a little bit more I don't know, searching. One more time. Think of the different colors that we can find with this figure that we started with the piece with. 3, 4. Great. And then we end with some slightly evil flats there, don't we? Great. Good. Okay, well that's a little small, as a very little taster of some of the tricky bits in this opening page. I think it's always worth thinking harmony, thinking phrasing, thinking type of sound, even when it's hard. So we're not just practicing things separate. Tamaki, I'm handing over to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna pin myself. And then you can see my Christmas tree, which I haven't tidied away yet. Okay, well, I'm not sure about you. I don't know about you, but I am still kind of, coming out of hibernation of Christmas and New Year break. So I'm going to do quick A flat minor and A flat major scale. So so you can put that into this month's practice before course starts. So you still have a few weeks, and then I'm gonna do the same. So let's play A flat minor first, and then A flat major. But intonation not such, but it's good to think. It's good to think about the color of, that key and tonality. So you're kind of going to that, that place. So let's do 2 octave of A flat minor. That kind of speed. One, ready, go. Same things, but let's change the fingering. So maybe you can go to either second position. I mean, you have to start from this half position anyway, but just change the position so you can just still keep the same kind of harmonical color, but just the hand is a little bit doing more exercise. So maybe I'll go to the third position. Okay, now let's change to A flat major, and then I think this difference, A flat minor and major, is really big, and then A flat major really really bright. So let's just figure that out. So now A flat major, 2 octave. Yeah, the fact like it uses the tone like C and F and E flat, so that makes kind of like the sound bright and then kind of vibrant. It's good when you practice scale. Listen for intonation, sound, but also the reaction of your instrument. So that's a good place to get to know your instrument, basically. So kind of tuning to that sort of sound and intonation aspect. So that the third bar of second violin, when it comes that tone. So if you imagine the cello and the viola already play starting from A flat, so their little things is based on first 3 notes of A flat scale, right? Basically, but do you hear how hopeful and then it's just major and how sunny that is? So I'm still experimenting. Although the Henley score, it says G, so G. So that gives a little deeper sound, but to me that it's sunnier and then a little bit more hopeful. So at the moment I'm choosing to play this on D string. Now first 2 bars, cello and viola, that's 1 bar, a 1 slur. But second violin part, that's broken up. So that indicates that there is a little bit of push for that, Oh, yes, we have crescendo, but there's a little bit of push there. That line is so difficult to do. Because it's E flat, you can't really do the finger swap. Now, let's practice this chord. The 5th is difficult to tune, right? First, I think most important for this to ring really well. Depending on the instrument, obviously, but in my violin, I'm trying to aim to put the finger just in between G and D string. So here I don't do so much angle in the finger. Sometimes I try to place when I play the fifths, I'll try to cut straight across, but I don't do this so much here. More importantly, I try to pin that finger in the right place to be in tune. Yeah, so the placement of finger is most important, and then gently roll. Oh. I think because you have to apply quite a bit of finger pressure for the fifths. So if I apply too much bow pressure for the higher register, then my sound cracks. So I just have to be aware of the bow pressure. And then I think, I cheat. Well, not necessarily cheat, but bar 5, I don't play the top B natural because that note is doubled. So I'll focus on that. Then that's relatively easy for the second violin part. Okay, now talking about the tuning aspect, just skip to the bar 15. So now the music is A flat major. So in the bar 15 and bar 16, we are producing this major chord. So I'm on second position. So let's tune this fifth of bar 16. That's hard, isn't it? Now this one, so I'm playing in second position. That one I try to consciously put the fingers straight across. So as right angle as possible. The logic says finger is naturally going that way, diagonally. So if you're not aware that when you try to play fifths in tune, there's a little bit of difference between two strings, if you know what I mean. So here, this one, A flat to E flat. I'll just how can I say? I'm just trying to have a little bit bad angle for my finger. If you can see, wait, that's better. No, not necessarily. Yeah, so I'll have the funny angle for that one. So. This 3 bars, it's very responsible. Your second violin is really responsible for the pitch. So then let's practice the next double saw. That also awkward hand position. Again. We should do this forward slowly and calm dynamics. And finger straight across. Just the third bar only. Go back and forth those 2 notes. Yeah, so that bar needs repetition. I mean, I need repetition to for the hand to remember that. Okay, a little bit of little fingering thing. Oh, I am taking too much time. I have to wrap it up. So if you look at bar 20, there's a E flat octave, right? So bar 19, I'm on the second position. So I'm changing to the first position from the last semiquaver, A flat. So the first majority of things is the second position. The thing what Katie was saying was very helpful. Hit that and then save the ball and then you need the momentum. So here the same. Here a little bit shift to the second position from F. Very cute. It's difficult to stop here, isn't it? But I'm going to pass on to Carmen. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to make me spotlighted, I think. Is that all right? There.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Yes, I think what I'll do is, if it's all right, I'll go until 6 o'clock, and then we'll take 5 minutes afterwards just to go through any questions if you have. If you need to go at 6, please do, because I know this is a short session. But a little bit of an insight from the inner voice, another inner voice from the viola. I'd like to focus on the section at bar 37. And if you look at this 37 to about bar 50 on the score, it's such a lovely confluence of all the ideas that Dvorak has put into this introduction. You know, the motif, this semi-quaver motif, da-da-da-da-da, how he just makes that, layers it all together and uses that as the intro before we get into new material from bar 50 onwards. But going back to this bar 37-38, where the first violin has this crazy semiquaver passage, in the middle voice we have these this rhythm. It's like a shoeshine rhythm. You know, very on paper it can be very innocuous and, you know, oh, we're just being filler. But rather than think of violas, you know, rather than just thinking of filler, think of it, how can you play your part to help support the other parts and how to guide? Now, I really like these two bars because it demonstrates that kind of rhythmic energy that Dvorak likes to put together. It's very simple rhythm, quavers in the cello, these semiquavers and quaver rhythm in the middle voice, and then semiquavers on the top. But in some ways, if you can, when you rehearse with colleagues, if you can get the two inner voices to match, then add the cello, you provide a bed for which the first violin to lie on top of and not to worry about. So let's just play those two bars. Actually, let's play 4 bars from bar 37, because it's a kind of a nice section. So I'll count a bar in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So I'll talk about the latter half of that section, but this rhythmic part, make sure you don't become lazy on the rhythm. Sometimes it's very easy to kind of play it as triplets. No, but we want this rhythm to be crisp and very clear. So one thing is just be aware. Now, in my part, I apologize. I think before I sent it, I have them as hooked. But just for now, for today, can we try them separately, starting down? And just kind of, you know, I'm focusing on the lower half of my bow. It's not a tight grip. It kind of just, I kind of let the bow and my wrist bounce. The other tip is left hand. I want my left hand to be alert and strong, and in a way I'm giving it each note a bit of vibrato for clarity. If I didn't play it with this kind of tautness, I can play the rhythm really well, and you know, in time, I can play it like this. I'll do it again. But I still need a little bit more clarity and energy from there. And I'm going to give it a little bit of vibrato left hand and a little bit more bounce and energy with my right hand. Just a little bit more liveliness in your part. You have the capacity to help add to the I call it energy flows of what the quartet is doing, and kind of support the first violin also. So with that in mind, let's go on to bar 39. Can we just play 39 for about 39 until 45 together, whatever part you have. And we'll take it slowly again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this I call a typical middle voice passage. You know, in a way, we're not really moving a lot harmonically. In 39, I'm really staying within 4 fingers. You know, that's my range. However, there's so much amazing little detail and little harmonic change that is fascinating. And also there's a lot of harmonic enharmonic stuff going on as well, and you can find a way to kind of noodle around and make the most of it. I kind of think of it as like a jazz player who's just like, hey, doobie doobie doo, you know. You can infuse life into these little details here. I know that's even a semitone only. But, you know, there is a nice character. You know, you can afford to be very expressive in those notes. So don't be shy to let your voice shine, because it kind of gives energy to your colleagues as well. The other great thing is in bar 42, right? We're the only ones moving chromatically. So you can milk that, these 3 notes. I know it's a decrescendo, but you know, there's a lot of emotion and whirls even in semitones. You know, the relationship of these 3 notes. And then we have these triplets. Again, we're the only ones with the triplets and these semiquavers that go da 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 da. It's like a wave. So you know, everybody else is pretty much very stable, but you're the one who has this nice little, you know, je ne sais quoi in those bars. So don't be afraid to bring those out when you're practicing them. Now I realize that it's 6 o'clock and I said I would stop here. So I would like to call my colleagues up, and I'll remove my spotlight. We're gonna open this up. If you just have any questions as well, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll try to answer them. But we hope this gives you, you know, a good taster about how we conduct these sessions. It's a mix of everything. We have a lot of the sectionals to go through all these parts in detail. As you can see, 10 minutes flies by really fast. Our sectionals are usually an hour long, and we really get finely into it and try to answer your questions also. The other great thing is we do our chats where we, as a group, talk together about this piece and come to our ideas and try to explain what happens in the background. At the end of the session as well, we also have a live online play along, and also we do a rehearsal. We also have a session that's a rehearsal that you can play along with the quartet. So it just gives you some insight into what we do in order to uncover more of this course. The amazing thing is we also have a guest lecturer who's going to join us later in February on Valentine's Day, actually. For a lot of the cellists, we have Michał Kaźnowski of the Magini Quartet, who is going to speak to us about this piece. The great thing is, I think later on in the same week, he will be playing this piece. So he'll give his insights as a chamber player. So it really is the time to come and celebrate and, you know, enjoy in depth this piece. We use a lot of tech there, but I don't want that to put you off, because as many of our members already can tell, it's very easy to navigate once you get into it. And don't hesitate to ask us any questions on how we'll help guide you through it. We use Zoom, we use Google Classroom, where we put up a lot of the parts, all the recordings. That's all there for you to access in your own time. We put recordings of all the sessions. We record them so that if you can't make a session live, we do it. You can view it in your own time. So anything to make this, you know, convenient for you in your own time. But at the same time, we do expect you to work, you know, and to participate in this course and get the most of it. So as you can see, Katie here has put catch-up sessions from our previous course. We put all the links so that you can catch up and watch in your own convenience those sessions that you might have missed. This is Google Classroom that we use, and we put up all the information that is necessary for the course, all the recordings. We have these great -1 tracks where you can literally play along either with the whole quartet, or you can choose, I just want to play with one particular instrument. If you're a violinist and you say, oh, I want to try it with cello, or I want to try it with violin too, you have the power to try all of that. And we also have practice tracks, which are just a slightly little bit more, you know, at a practice tempo for you, so that you can pick and choose which, you know, where you are in the course. Oh, I'm ready for this level. I'll go for the faster tempo perhaps, or the performance tempo. So there's a lot of resources here for you to try. We also have these practice tips, which are fantastic. So from each of us, our own insight into the parts for you to look at in detail. You know, here are some measures, some bars to focus on as you're getting ready. So yes, I think what's great about this course is the both the big detail that we really go into, but also the bigger picture of how to put this piece in context, especially nowadays as you know, we're thrown into pandemic world a bit. It's been great to have this community together and really share this with everyone and discuss it. You know, we never see the end result as the finite plan. It is really a discovery for us, and we hope for you as well. So, yeah.
And there's a WhatsApp group.
There's a WhatsApp group for, you know, if you have instant. So we're all reachable by email, by WhatsApp, on the Google Classroom chat also. So we know that it's already 6:05. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. If you have any questions right now, please feel free. Otherwise, thank you so much and Happy New Year. It's great to see you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll just put the info at so just you can reach us at this email address of info@villagequartet.com if you have any questions. And then sign up for this course is available through the website. So there's a page to sign up. Thank you for tuning in today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Right.